Hello students, this is your week 1 announcement for MMDD 157, Digital Audio Design. Welcome students to the winter 2022 semester. We've made it to another year, we've made it to another semester, and this is yet again, for the time being, another semester that is online. And for those of you who may have had me in creative thinking last semester, you will be familiar with the way that I kind of run and present my courses. All of your professors have their own intricacies and nuances in how they do things, me not being an exception. So the way that I do this, and it's detailed later on in other things on Blackboard, but just to get you instantly acquainted, is this course is presented asynchronously. So I'll be providing videos like this that you watch on your own time and schedule things more on your own time, on your own schedule, to complete by specific due dates. So this is your first weekly announcement video, and I plan to release future weekly announcement videos as well, which is meant to be just kind of like an overview of what you're going to be working on this week. And I sort of go through Blackboard and click on all the stuff that you need to make sure that you also click on your own time and go through. So this is basically just kind of like a walkthrough of what you'll be up to this week in class. And since this is the first week of the semester, there's of course a lot of logistical things that need to be covered, like for instance talking about how this class runs, right, which I just did there. There also are some other important shifts that have happened since you last were in school, which I will talk about in a bit as well. So I suppose with that, I'll go ahead and go into Blackboard, and here we are. And this is the first major change that you need to be aware of, which is that Blackboard has changed, okay? So you may have gotten used to the old version of Blackboard, although I suppose students have really only been here for one semester. So maybe you kind of got used to it, maybe you didn't, maybe you had a lot of headaches with it. I'm sure you did, because it was a very kind of cumbersome platform. Now we're living in the world of Blackboard Ultra, which is this. It is a much sleeker and I think a much more user-friendly, and it should kind of work better in terms of improvements on Blackboard. However, there are some changes that come with this, and some more limitations as well with this version of Blackboard. So once again, I will keep referencing, but for students who had creative thinking with me last semester, you probably got pretty used to how I would organize things week to week, and there'd be new folders and all that kind of stuff. Things are going to change a little bit this time around simply because I can't organize it quite in that way anymore. The main difference that I would say with this new version of Blackboard in terms of how I am going to change how I organize stuff is that with the previous version, there was a big left-hand navigation menu where I would put all the course content there. Now, there still is some important information here on this left-hand menu, but it's different, right? Now the course content is presented here kind of in the main part of the page, which is different, right? So this changes how I'm going to kind of organize things. So once again, for students who previously had me, things are going to change a little bit from how they were last semester. For students who have never had me, this is all going to seem like a pretty new thing. So one of the most important things that's going to happen these first couple weeks of class is simply you getting used to the pacing and the way that the class runs. And I promise you that a few weeks in, things will start to feel much more routine, and ideally you'll have a good schedule and you'll be able to progress through the course at a good pace. But in this video, I will just go ahead and tell you the main things that you need to make sure you go through on Blackboard this week. So first off, here in the course content, we have a section called Course Information. And if you click on that, it opens up a link here, which is a course overview, a folder here, which is a course outlining critical path, and this is a document of my contact info and office hours. If you click on this course overview, which I also have asterisked because that's a focus for you this week, is this course overview to make sure you go through it. If you click on it, it opens up a sort of interactive document made using a tool called Adobe Express, which used to be called Adobe Spark. This is a platform and a program that I tend to use for making course documents and lessons, simply because I think it's visually a lot nicer than I think just slide decks and stuff like that, and it is more interactive in terms of how you can have videos and things in there. So this is what I tend to use, but I'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit and what that means for you. But here we are in our course overview, okay? And this goes over the necessary information for the course that you need to know to get started. And there is a video here of me walking you through all this information. So once again, you'll notice that this is a video you're watching of me right now, but in the course documents that I'm directing you to, there will be more videos for you to watch, okay? And that's all about this asynchronous way of presenting course information. So there's a video here of me walking you through all this information, which is very important for you to know and go through. So I'm not going to do it in this video since there's a separate one for you to watch. But that is your course overview document to make sure you go through. I also have provided, of course, the official course outline and critical path. Let me just move those around, switch their placements real quick. See, that was pretty easy. Anyway, course outline and critical path for you to have as well on hand for more detailed information and just for reference. And then this is my contact info and office hours, which is detailed in that course overview document, but I'll go ahead and say in this video as well. My name is Christopher Ohlendorf. I'm your professor for this class, and my email is christopher.ohlendorf@humber.ca. And that is Christopher with a K, right? So if you do it with a CH, I'm not going to get your email. And email is the best way to contact me. So always feel free to email me with any questions, and I will try to respond within 48 hours during business hours, Monday to Friday, 9 to 4. Email sent on Friday or the weekend should not expect a response until the following week, right? So if you email me at 3 a.m. on a Saturday, you're not going to get a response until that Monday at the very least, right? And it says 48 hours here. I typically respond much sooner than that within this time frame, but I just have that 48-hour window there to cover my bases. And I will say here as well, email is my preferred means of communication. Please do not anticipate a response from Blackboard messages. So one of the changes with Blackboard Ultra is that I can no longer turn off course messages. So just to show you real quick, I'm going to go into a student preview here. And you will notice when you're on this Blackboard course, next to me, the instructor, there's this little envelope here, or a little letter, or whatever it is. If you click on it, it opens up this window to send me a message through Blackboard. What I'm telling you is that this is not the preferred way to communicate with me. So if you send a message to me in this way, you may not get a response. If you send me an email, you can expect a response to come. And if I don't end up responding within 48 hours, definitely follow up with me because I may have missed the email. Sometimes it's in my junk folder, all of that. All of that to say, do not rely on Blackboard messages to communicate with me. Even though it may seem enticing, please email me for communication. And like I said, that was previously a tool that could be turned off in Blackboard, but it no longer can be turned off, so it's just there. Now let me exit the preview and get back to where I was. Course information. Okay, yes, instructor contact info. We're going to open this up again. Also, just to say, it's program policy for instructors. Do not contact me by social media, nor connect with me on there. So do not DM me on Instagram. If you need to get a hold of me, email me, right? Here it is, christopher.ohlendorf@humber.ca. It's also good practice for you to think about how you can professionally write emails, right? So think of me as a potential client or your boss or something like that, and try to keep things, succinct and well written. Office hours. I am available at the following times for virtual office hours appointments. Mondays 1:30 to 3, Thursdays 10:30 to 12, and 1:30 to 3, and Fridays 10:30 to 12. These are all times in EST, Toronto time, right? That's where I am. So basically Monday afternoons. This should be Wednesday, not Thursday. Let me just go ahead and edit that. So it's Monday afternoons, Wednesday, mornings and afternoons, and then Friday mornings. Now, if you would like to meet with me outside of if you'd like to meet with me in those times, you just click on this link here, and it takes you to a booking page, and you just click on what day and time you'd like to meet, and it schedules a meeting with me. Right now, the only option is 15-minute meetings, which usually is enough to cover what students need to talk about. And you just add your name and email here, right? And make sure you add an email, and make sure there's no typos with your email, because your email is where you're going to get information about how to access the meeting, okay? Which is through Microsoft Teams. Anyway, so you'll book a meeting with me there at least 24 hours in advance so that I know to prepare for it and schedule for it. If you would like to meet outside of those time slots, you can email me and we can try to set up a time. But ideally, those time slots are what I have set aside specifically for meeting with students, and it's meant to be easily bookable and manageable for you to do. So use that to your advantage. And if you need to cancel a meeting you have made, please email me ahead of time to let me know. You don't even have to say why, but you can just say, hey, I'm not going to make it to the meeting tomorrow. If you just don't show up to a scheduled meeting and you don't reach out beforehand telling me you're not going to make it, you may be penalized marks for the course, simply because I've had many students do that before, where they schedule meetings and then I go to the meeting online and then no one shows up, and I had no communication from the student that they weren't going to be there. That's extremely unprofessional, and so to try and kind of get students out of that kind of mindset, I have to put a little threat here, right? So if that happens, you may be penalized marks for the course due to that. So please, if you can't make it to a meeting, just tell me ahead of time. Email me, hey, I'm not going to make it. That's perfectly fine. That means that I can take it out of my calendar and I can use that time for some good to make sure that all my classes are all organized and all that kind of stuff. And I don't just sit there waiting for a student to show up who doesn't. I promise I'm not intimidating, okay? Just meet with me. I'm happy to talk with you. But please show up to the meeting on time as well. Keep it professional. So that's course information. So make sure you spend time this week going through that. And then you'll notice the other main sort of organization module here is something called Project 1 Voice User Interface, weeks 1 through 7. This will all make more sense once you've gone through some of those course materials, but basically these are folders that will include your weekly lessons and deliverables for your first major project in the course. Content in these folders will release during their scheduled week on Monday at noon, with the assigned deliverable due that Friday, 11:59 p.m. EST. Okay. Once again, this is a lot of information. It gets repeated throughout these different course documents, so it should get more normal to you as you hear it. But basically, the way that I have this organized right now is that each week you have a specific component of your project, which is a voice user interface project that you will be building out. And so each week I'll provide what that assignment is, as well as any helpful lessons and resources to make sure you can work on that assignment and do it well, basically, right? Now, I'm not going to tell you exactly what you need to do. It's going to require a lot of effort on your end of figuring things out and doing things kind of on your own, but that's really what this approach to this course is all about, and it's meant to train you to become a self-disciplined learner, which is a hugely valuable skill for you to have. And you'll notice these folders are locked, right? And I have them releasing on the weeks when they are relevant, so keep that in mind. And I think you'll be able to see on your end as well that you can see the title of these folders, and it'll just say, won't be available until this date. So that just shows you that there is a scheduled kind of release pattern with how your lessons and your assignments will each week kind of be opened to you. So it's meant to keep you on track each week, making slow progress on your overall project. This week, as you see again from the asterisk, there is a project overview and intro to VUI section. So first, here's a lesson, Intro to Voice User Interfaces. Once again, this is a link to an Adobe Express page, which gets you familiar with simply what is a voice user interface, okay? So you'll scroll through this. There's some reading you do. There are some videos to watch, right? I try to make it kind of dynamic and multimedia based, and then some questions at the end for you to take with you. So this is almost like, imagine if you were assigned to read a chapter from a textbook or something, but these are all resources that I have presented and organized for you as they relate to this course and the project you are working on. So spend time going through this lesson, and then here, once you have an idea of what voice user interfaces are, this is an overview of your first projects in the course. Once again, similar to the course overview, there is a video in here walking you through specifically this document. So this is another video for you to watch where I just take you step by step through what this project is about, what you will be doing, how it's broken down, and all of that stuff. So this is a very important thing for you to go through so that you have some idea of what you're going to be doing basically in the first half of this course with your first projects. And so that's what you'll be doing this week. You won't really be doing any assignment work quite yet, because this week is really just about getting comfortable and getting used to the idea of how this course is going to function, as well as just getting an overview of what the course is about, how to contact me and all of that classic stuff, as well as, what is a voice user interface and what is the project you will be working on throughout the next 7 weeks in this class. And that's how it'll be going, right? And so you can expect future video announcements from me as well. And in the announcements, I'll also write out directions of all you need to do for the week. But in these video announcements, it's just this, right? Me clicking through Blackboard and showing you where stuff is. Again, hopefully with Blackboard Ultra, it'll be a bit easier for you to find things, but maybe it'll still be kind of confusing. So I just do this just to say, look, this is where you click and this is what you watch, right? To make sure that you know. One thing I will say about these documents and these lessons, which are made using this Adobe Express tool, is, again, with the first change from Adobe Spark to Adobe Express, which, again, isn't anything you need to know about. That's one change that happened, again, over these past few weeks that has changed how I've had to approach some of these learning materials. But also with the Blackboard Ultra update, it is not very easy for me to share with you sort of file documents of these lessons. So they kind of exist online from these links. And again, students who were in creative thinking with me may remember that I would embed those lessons, and they were kind of, you clicked on them right in Blackboard and they would kind of pop up, very visually nice. But Blackboard Ultra doesn't let me add in HTML code. So now they're just links that you click on, for better or for worse. And because there is not a very easy way for me to share PDF files with you without it getting very overloaded on Blackboard, what I recommend you do is take your own notes, okay? So whether in a notepad or on your laptop, when you go through these documents, when you go through these lessons, take notes of things that stick out to you, things that seem important, and that actually will help reinforce the learning and the information for you much better than if you just had the file on hand to refer to. So taking your own notes, I think, would be a wonderful way to make sure that you move forward in the course and you understand all of these things well, and you can always quickly reference them to find information you may need to know, right? So you can always include links in your notes as well if you're doing them on your computer of videos that you may find worth going back to or anything like that. For, I guess, if you want to be able to, go over your notes and stuff while not being connected to the internet. Because if you're connected to Blackboard and online, you can always click on these lessons to view them. But yes, there's not a very easy way, unfortunately, for you to have them in a file form. So that's why at this point, I'm just saying straight up to recommend you take notes, okay? Which might seem like a crazy thing to ask, but that's really a big part of being a student, is taking your own notes, organizing information as it makes sense to you. So when it comes to things like your project overview and stuff like that too, right? Taking notes of due dates, important things that you need to keep track of, and all of that grand old stuff. So that is information as it relates to the course this week. Something else that I have in here just for, this is interesting. Okay, so as an experiment, I made a discussion board that is Q&A, okay? Post any questions and answers about the course here. These discussion boards also seem to have changed quite a bit from previous Blackboard. It looks like it's just responses now. I don't know. It's here for us to play around with. If you have any questions, you can post them there. And if you have a response to that question, feel free to answer your fellow students. I put the discussion there, and I now see that it appears here as well. So here's the thing, right? I'm learning Blackboard Ultra at the same rate that you're learning Blackboard Ultra. So this is a new experience for everyone. So we're going to see how this discussion board goes. This is interesting that it showed up right there. I didn't expect that. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. Whether or not people use that or not, I don't know. But the other thing that I wanted to say here is I have some information on labor relations. This is, kind of a big overall thing kind of happening right now that you may have heard about. I don't know, but I felt I should be transparent with students about this if they would like to have more information. So the faculty is currently involved in labor relations that may have an effect on how your courses run this semester. The links below are intended to make this information clearer to students. So first, here's a YouTube video about unions, because the labor relations are all about how your faculty is a part of a union, and we are negotiating with our employers, trying to have better working conditions, basically. Pretty much updating our contracts for the new world, because certain things like how our workload is calculated haven't changed since like 1985. And especially with this shift to online teaching and online learning, there's a lot of things we spend time with that aren't specifically stated in our contracts. So we're just trying to update things and make things better for your professors so that we aren't super overworked and we can ensure that your classes all run smoothly. And so due to these negotiations, your faculty is currently in a state of something called work to rule. And so information about what that means is here, which is provided by the Humber Faculty Union. So there's frequently asked questions, all that kind of stuff about what this means and what your professors are kind of up to right now. And here's a link to a bargaining info package for students. So there's a lot of information here, and this, again, may not seem directly related to the course and your lessons and stuff like that, but it's something that is happening right now with your faculty that you may just kind of hear things about. So if you want more information about that, I've provided this for you here because I figured might as well be transparent with students and let them know what's going on. So there's that information there too, but stuff about your course is in the course information and in your project folder here. And like I said, you can anticipate updates from me like this, announcements every Monday at noon, where I'm going to I'll write out directions of what you're going to be doing this week, but also provide ideally a video, unless a video maybe isn't necessary certain weeks if it's pretty straightforward what you need to do. But otherwise, there's a video of me walking you through this stuff too. And make sure that you keep track of your announcements. This is also something that I'm pretty sure changed a little bit with the new Blackboard. So I'll make this announcement and you should get notified about it, hopefully. And just keep track of these announcements when they come out. I believe they'll appear here on the announcements tab on the left. So once again, we're going to learn about that, how it goes. But this is the best way for me to get this sort of information out to you, to the whole class at once, right? So that covers it for this week. And definitely, please don't hesitate to reach out to me via email, or if you want to book a meeting to talk with me, you're welcome to. If you have any questions about the course or your project as it currently stands, and what I will say is before reaching out to me with any specific questions, make sure you've gone through all of the things that I just told you to go through right now, right? So if you ask me a question and it's very clearly covered in one of the documents I asked you go through, that kind of shows me that you didn't go through the document, right? So please make sure to go through all of that. And when it comes to your assignments as well, every week you'll be given information about what you'll be working on that week. I'm not trying to overwhelm you too much right now with all of those assignments at once. Again, they're all listed out there of what the idea of what you're going to do, but the specifics of them will come week to week to ensure you can focus on each component one at a time to make a nice grand overall project. So I suppose that is the end of this announcement, and I wish you luck with the course, of course. And thank you for watching this video. Once again, reach out if you have any questions. Okay, have a great week.